Hello, mate. Happy Saturday. It's a glorious morning. We're on an adventure. We're on a wild adventure out in the yard. Tommy, my neighbor, friend, boss, texted me last night. She came out. It was almost 10 o'clock, and there was a coyote out here, right here in this area. And then a siren went by, and they started yipping and howling and doing all their stuff. So, of course, me being me, what's going on with the hair, Tracy? Me being me, I grabbed my trusty, what? Oh, my phone's saying something. I don't know what it's saying. Anyway, I grabbed my trusty triple light 360, 180, whatever it's called, and I come running outside because I want to see it. And then I was like, oh, well, it's kind of cold out there, and I don't have on a coat or shoes. So I went back in. I was like, that's enough of that. I just wanted to see them, but she said they were down here near the woods. It's not a lot of woods. I mean, there's houses right on the other side there, so it's not like it's deep woods, but I guess it's deep enough for them to find shelter. That was that excitement. Carolyn sent me a message last night about her cow laying down. She said her cow, she's got a famous cow named Nacho. Nacho the bull, well, Nacho the steer, I believe, would be the correct terminology. But she said, I think she said he was raised with a pig, and the pig would always lay down on its side, so Nacho lays down on his side. Well, that reminded me of a story. And I told her, I said, I hope that I can still remember this in the morning so I can tell this story. But let's back up a little bit from that story and tell you that I've been around horses a lot. I have. I'm not a newbie when it comes to horses, because in high school, my friend Jill had 2 horses, and we always went and worked at the stables turning out the horses. She had more than her 2 that she would turn out in the mornings, and we picked the stalls, and we mucked the stalls, and we did all the things, and then we would go back in the evenings and call the horses back in. We also rode the horses. I rode the horse. I didn't ride that well. She did. She used to ride rodeo. She's real tiny. She's about 4'9" and back in the day she was probably 85 pounds of fury. She would ride rodeo, so she rode very well. Well, my first time, getting on a horse, she said, which one do you want to ride? Well, I see a shorter horse with spots on it, and then I see a very tall, elegant looking horse. So I chose the short horse. It's the Appaloosa, named Domino. And the other one was an Arabian named Gal Baby. Well, I thought that the short one would be the better option for me. It looked less intimidating. That was the biggest mistake of my life. Okay, maybe not the biggest mistake of my life, but that was a mistake, because that Appaloosa, whew, when I got on that thing, it took off running, and we had only gotten to the point of, and punch it in the side a little with your heel. Please stand by. Okay, I shouldn't say punch it. It was more like a nudge. Wrong terminology there. So I nudged and did the, and that thing took off running. We had not got to the point where she told me how to stop it. That horse ran so fast and so far out into the pasture, with me hanging on for dear life, thinking that this was going to be my last day of life. Here she comes, running up beside us on her Arabian. She stood up on that horse and pretty much jumped from that horse to my horse. It should have been in the movies. It should have been recorded, but you know, this was in the 80s. There was no cell phones. There was no little cameras sitting around, so anyway, nobody got to see it. But she leapt over to that horse and she got it to stop. And I got off that horse and I walked it back to the barn. She said, "Don't you want to ride back?" I said, "No, I'm never getting on this horse again." Now, I did get back on a horse. I got on Gal Baby. And Gal Baby, in all her glory, she was just as gentle, which is odd for an Arabian because they're pretty feisty. But she was so good with me. That little Appaloosa, nope, But anyway, we would also go over there and we would run them in the round pen. We did all kinds of things. I would ride bareback with her. Hilarious. Little 85-pound Jill and me, I don't know how much I weighed, but probably 120 at the time, hanging on to her for dear life, bareback on Gal Baby. And some numbskull drove by the pasture and blew his horn, and that horse stood up on his back legs, not on his front legs, on his back legs. And I held on to Jill with everything I had, and she held on to those reins with everything she had. And we didn't fall off that horse. I rode a horse several times after that. We went to a church camp where we rode a horse. I mean, I have experience with horses is what I'm trying to say. Not a great deal of experience, but I have experience nonetheless. Ooh, look how pretty that is. So, getting to the funny story, please stand by. So, I used to drive kind of across town to this church that I was going to, and it took me by some rural areas with where one of my friends lived that had horses. He was a reserve deputy, and we would go out there. He would have, you know, cookouts and stuff. So very nice piece of property. And I glance over there to this, please stand by, I can't get my coat off. So I drive by and glance over there, as I always did, to look at the horses, because horses are just so beautiful and so majestic. I couldn't ride one now to save my life because my back and my hips would be like, what? No, I don't think so, honey. Not today, Satan. But anyway, I still love them. So I glance over there, and there is a horse laying on its side. Now, in all that time I spent working at that barn, turning out horses and all that, I never saw a horse laying down. And my mom, with all her infinite wisdom, told me that horses don't lay down, that if they're laying down, they're either dying or dead. Yeah, deceased. So I thought something was wrong with his horse. I didn't have his cell phone number, but I had his friend Jeff's cell phone number, who was also a friend of mine from the sheriff's office. I called Jeff and I said, "Hey, buddy." And Jeff talks like this. "Well, hey, how you doing?" That's not a good representation of how he talks. He talks real country, and he's a horse person, and oh goodness, he's from Kentucky. He's just got that good old slow country drawl, right? "Well, how you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm good, but I'm driving by Butch's place, and one of his horses is laying down." He said, "Okay." I said, "Well, don't that mean something's wrong with him or her?" "Well, no, I guess he's just tired." I didn't think horses laid down. He said, well, of course they lay down. They lay down, they roll around. What? What? I mean, I'm in my 40s at this point, and I've been around a lot of horses, and I've never seen this happen. He laughed so hard at me. I said, stop laughing at me. I thought something was wrong with his horse. Of course, I was laughing too, because he didn't mean no harm by it. But he called Butch, and they had the best laugh about me thinking something was wrong with their horse. I said, look, would you rather me call and tell you that something might be wrong? Hey, no, I appreciate you calling, but there ain't nothing wrong with him. He's probably just laying down, you know. Sometimes you just have to get off your feet. That's my horse story. And then today's memory from, I think it was 3 years ago, I had a deceased possum in my backyard. Gracie found it. Thankfully, she never leaves the patio, right? I mean, hardly ever does she. She might walk out to where the trees start, but she doesn't go all the way to the back of the yard. So she's headstrong, heading that way. And I'm like, where is she going? She never goes out that far. So I follow her. And just as we get there, I see this possum laying on the ground. And I was like, well, get up, buddy. Because I didn't want the dogs to see it, right? Well, I pick Gracie up and I take her back in the house. And of course, I call the dogs with the treats. And they come back in the house. And then I go back out there. Now, keep in mind, I had a hair appointment that I had to go to in like 5 minutes. So I couldn't do anything about the possum right at that moment. But I got the dogs back in and the cat back in and all is well. I went and got my hair colored. It was blonde. It was all blonde. I like my hair blonde, but it's really damaging to my hair. But anyway, yes, it is. Well, I get home and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with this possum? What am I going to do? I don't know. It's still here. So obviously it's not playing possum. It's still here. So I came inside and I got a bag and I put on a pair of gloves because I wasn't real sure what I was going to find when I picked it up. I didn't know how long it had been there. You know, just put on some gloves. I grabbed it by the tail and I held it up, and he had just peacefully passed away in my yard. Maybe he had been, you know, hit by a car but not ran over by a car. I don't know, but I don't know why he chose my yard. Well, here goes Miss Tracy with this possum in a bag. And I was like, what am I going to do with it? I don't want to throw it away because I don't want that in my trash can for a whole week until the trash runs again. So y'all, I take off down my driveway, up the road to where those woods start, and I toss the possum in the woods. The circle of life. What's that song? We. No, I can't do it. In the circle of life. I want to be able to do that. You know that song at the beginning of Lion King? I don't know. I saw Lion King at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, the play. Y'all, if you ever get to see a play, go see Lion King. That was the absolute best play I have ever seen in my life. And I've seen several. I'm actually quite educated. Educated? I don't know. I mean, I've been to a lot of plays. I've been to Phantom of the Opera. I've been to Barney. That was probably my least favorite. But when I went with my friend Denise and her daughter, and it was an actual play with Barney the dinosaur. Cats. What do you call the Christmas, all the ladies? The Rockettes. That's who I'm trying to think of. All the single ladies. All the single ladies. No, not that one. I forgot what it's called. All the ladies come out and they kick their legs real high. You know that one? I've been to that one. Yes. I'm very well-rounded. Is that the right word? Anyway, but Cats is my, no, I mean, Cats was good, but Lion King is my absolute favorite because of the costumes. Amazing, amazing talent all the way around with the singers, the dancers, the costume makers, everything. Look it up on Google and just look at some of the pictures of the costumes. Amazing. But anyway, that's it for this moment. I am going to go work in my craft room some. Pray for me. Because it needs a lot of work. But I'm moving my plants in there because it has 3 great windows. And I want to get some of my plants moved in there and out just because they're everywhere. Because I had to bring in my porch plants last night because it was going to get down to 40. And even though I know that's not that cold tonight, it's going to hit in the 30s. So I'd just rather do it some of that stuff's not supposed to be there. It's just sitting there. But anyway, I'd just rather go ahead and do it now so that I don't forget. So anyway, I'll be back. Okay, well, me and my little shadow here have been in the craft room for most of the day, and I've got a table moved over and I got the plants on it, and I'm straightening everything up and putting everything up and trying to find a place for everything so everything has a place. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, though. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember that I love you. Jesus loves you. I hope he's coming back soon because these people be crazy. Hit the like button or comment. Either one. I like both, but I'll take either. And have a great rest of your day. And I will see you tomorrow on the next Tracy Tries. Because I post every day, right? Right. Bye.